Good afternoon, Mike the MC, bringing another self-care video. Today I'm going to go back to Drew Crease's book on talking about narcissists, and I'm going to bring up the idea of families and just think, hey, some families just seem to have it all, do they? The house, farmland, cars, etc. All the riches in the community and the prestige, and it's like, man, what is it that kind of gives them the advantage over a lot of families? And I'm going to talk about a bit of the narcissistic tendencies in this regard with those families that we know, and just see, okay, maybe we don't have to be at that level, but maybe we still can succeed and still have a chance of helping our own families grow in the process. So this will be a great topic to discuss, so let's get this started. So from Drew Crease's book on Narcissists Exposed, she brings up the question, does narcissism run in the families? And she says yes, although researchers have not yet figured out the entire picture with regard to how and why. But being on the how and the why about the video, this is where we'll come into play. And I will just say, some families, I would just argue, just had better resources. They had better communication with people in the community. It was a last name. However it was that they came about throughout the previous centuries, I would argue that's how families would grow from the previous generations. And you look back and you talk with other people also from prestigious families. I remember this one lady in my community, nice lady, but just talking with her and how her family grew. Her family had like 4 businesses back in the 50s, and you think, okay, wow, okay. So of course they had money, of course, to keep building and expanding. Were they narcissistic? Probably not. Because, I mean, they were a good family that I knew, but you can look at other families that have used their prestige and their power in different ways, and how they've used that to their advantage, running into politics, promoting projects to be built in the town, right? I want the new store at this location because my name is going to be on it, and it's going to bring us business. Or a bit of an underhanded tactic is what I'm alluding to with that, is like, if the family is going to use their name in different areas in the town, who's going to challenge that family? And it's like, But you look at the idea also, if it wasn't so narcissistic, the concept is still good in the sense that, hey, maybe if I really worked on my family name, gave it a good reputation, then I can build it forward and help my kids moving forward as they grow. And I think that is something we could all consider as parents, helping our kids. Because I want to make this video kind of like the contrast to narcissistic families and how to do it the right way as possible. Because I know other family businesses in my community as well that have done their businesses the right way, passing it down to younger children by first having not only the resources, but then having their kids get involved with the business. And I think that is the telling point. To me, that's really the key, because if they mistreat their employees or their co-workers or business people, clients in public, and you notice that, and it's like, oh, well, of course they're being a little narcissistic to the people in their buildings, how they operate their agencies and the businesses. Of course, I probably wouldn't want to work with a family like that. But then again, being a little ruthless in this regard does have its benefit of not being put down by other people. And so when you look at famous people, even presidents, politicians, and how they were very strong throughout their careers, they had to be determined in some regard, and maybe a bit of selfishness can go a long way, because they had to go against the criticism, battle people in the process, and make their stance firm when they had to make an argument. And right, it's like, oh, we see all these shows on politics and yada yada, and now people will just ramble on previous issues from years past, and it's like, okay, we recognize these issues, but what else are we going to talk about today? Are we going to try to solve a solution today, or are we just going to just gossip and ramble all day? And you wonder, man, what else can we talk about besides just criticizing each other? And I think when we try to do this the right way, as far as building a business, building a name, the correct way, having a motivation behind it, a cause, a purpose, so to support not only your family, but the people in your community as well. So like if you have the idea of starting a cattle ranch in your area, where in my area, there's many of those, if you can supply your beef to local stores, to other restaurants, I mean, that's a noble cause. So the way about going about it, that's the key. The way we go about success, that's the way to know if you're doing things right or wrong, in the sense that, okay, people are criticizing you or giving you good reviews. And then I would argue one step further, and if you know what you're doing is right, even if it's going against negative criticism, don't give up on yourself either. because that has to be put into perspective also. Because doing the right thing is not always popular either. And so when you are trying to build your business, and if it is through underhanded tactics, and you think, okay, if I'm going to do those underhanded tactics, I mean, eventually I would hopefully want to stop, right? I don't want to do that forever, or just don't start at all, right? Just don't do it if you don't have the ability to start a business the right way. But then people may argue, well, what about just getting started? You had to get help from somebody, like big brother, big sister, like, hey, you want to give me some help, support, give me a loan, something to get going. And so I would argue in that regard, if you have a good idea and intention, all right, if you really do feel you're called to build a business and you had to do something to kind of get some nepotism along the way, just consider, okay, giving thanks to a greater cause, where I'm saying, okay, give thanks to God or some sort of greater purpose. So that way, when you come back and say, all right, thank you for helping me do this, get started, now I'll use my goods to help people. There I feel you can have forgiveness in the sense that, all right, now I'm trying to do things the right way. So there's always redemption when you start a business, and move forward with that as well. And I think business owners need not to forget, all right, maybe we started in the wrong way, but we can now become heroes the right way later in life. And as a narcissistic family, we can redeem ourselves and put a good name out there, just because now that we are been called out by other people, had a critic come over and say, hey, I don't like how you're treating your kids or the employees in your business. Why don't you give them a little respect in this regard? Because you won't have them for long. So make it a family-based business. Make it loving, make it caring, so that way the kids love being there, and you're not torturing them just by that you giving them orders all the time. Make it a family-run business. Make it enjoyable. It can be good. And I think that is where the redemption comes into play, when you could turn your environment around to a loving environment. And so with regard to narcissism in environments, I feel they can be changed. The critic has to come into play at some point, whether it's from a friend, a review from another professional critic, or another agency, business, competition, right? And when you take into heart what people are saying and you want to change your business for good, that will be something worth watching, that I think we'd all like to see. Watching a business go from corrupt to good. And I think it's possible. So don't give up on yourself or a business idea. We all want to start a business someday if you are wanting to be an entrepreneur, and to stay focused, to go against the critics, to stay true. And when you feel like you're ready to take the criticism and move forward, then go for that and take your business to the next level. And so those are my thoughts about narcissistic families of business from Mike the MC on Thursday. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Don't give up on your business idea. Remember, you can build something good and turn it to something good, even if it wasn't starting on the right foot. And correcting it later in life is better than not. And so don't give up on yourself, and always remember, you have the power to be a good boss. All right, everybody, take care. Have a good one.